The new house exuded an eerie charm, its architecture hinting at a forgotten history. As my family settled in, an unsettling feeling gnawed at me. I brushed it off as jitters, attributing it to the unfamiliar surroundings. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the house transformed. Shadows seemed to dance in the corners of my vision, and every creak echoed like a distant whisper. A chill crept through the air, raising goosebumps on my skin. One night, I woke to a soft rustling sound outside my bedroom door. My heart raced as I strained to listen. It sounded like footsteps, deliberate and hauntingly close. I called out, thinking it was my parents, but received no response. The feeling of being watched intensified with each passing night. The air grew thick with tension, and I began to avoid the darker corners of the house. A mirror in the hallway reflected movements I couldn't explain, a shadowy figure darting away when I turned. I confided in my family, but they brushed it off as my imagination. Frustrated and fearful, I started researching the house's history. An old newspaper article revealed a tragic event that had occurred there decades ago, a disappearance shrouded in mystery. Late one evening, I followed an inexplicable pull to the basement. The air grew colder, and a whisper brushed against my ear. A door stood slightly ajar, revealing a hidden room. Inside, a sense of foreboding gripped me, as if the room held a secret it was desperate to share. I stepped closer to an ornate mirror, its glass tarnished with age. The whispers grew louder, forming fragmented sentences. As I stared at my reflection, it shifted, revealing another figure standing beside me, a spectral presence with hollow eyes. The figure's lips moved, and the whispers coalesced into words. "Help me." Its voice was a desperate plea. Laden with sorrow and longing, I reached out, touching the mirror's surface. The room quivered, and the figure stepped out of the mirror, its form solidifying. The air grew charged with energy, and a chilling silence enveloped us. It regarded me with gratitude, the weight of its gaze heavy yet somehow comforting. With a final glance, the figure faded away, leaving behind a sense of closure. The house felt different after that, as if the unseen eyes had finally turned away. As I reflect on those haunting days, I can't help but wonder about the connection between the past and the present, and the lingering echoes of the unseen. Moving into the old house was like stepping into a forgotten past. The rooms were filled with antique furniture and faded photographs, each one holding a piece of history. But as night fell, the house revealed its secrets. I woke to faint whispers, as if the walls held memories they longed to share. The floorboards creaked under phantom footsteps, and shadows danced in the corners of my vision. My family brushed it off as the house settling, but I knew it was something more. One evening, I explored the attic, drawn to a locked door. As I turned the handle, a rush of cold air greeted me. Inside, an old music box lay, its tune hauntingly beautiful. But when I wound it, the whispers grew louder, and the room seemed to come alive. Each night, the music box played on its own, its melody carrying an unspoken sorrow. It was as if a lingering presence was trying to communicate. One night, the whispers formed words, a plea for release. I couldn't ignore it any longer. I followed the whispers to a hidden room in the basement. The air was heavy with an ancient grief. There, I found a faded photograph of a girl who looked just like me. The whispers grew desperate, urging me to set them free. With trembling hands, I placed the music box on the ground. Its melody filled the room, and the air shimmered. The girl from the photograph appeared, her eyes filled with gratitude. As the music faded, so did the whispers. The house fell silent, the shadows still. I had set the trapped spirit free, giving her the peace she longed for. The old house, once a reservoir of secrets, became a place of closure and connection. Now, as I look around, I feel a sense of tranquility. The house is no longer haunted by whispers and shadows. It's a haven where the past has found its voice and the present holds a newfound serenity.
Moving into the new house had been exciting, until I started hearing the whispers. At first, I brushed it off as my imagination, a trick of the unfamiliar surroundings. But as the days went by, the whispers grew louder, more distinct. One night, I woke to a chilling breeze in the room. The window was shut, and yet the air was icy. A soft voice, almost a sigh, murmured in the darkness. I strained to hear, my heart pounding. "Why did you come here?" I chalked it up to exhaustion, convinced that my mind was playing tricks on me. But then came the shadows that danced in the corners of my vision, the creaks in the floorboards when no one else was home. One evening, as I unpacked in the dimly lit hallway, I felt a presence behind me. I turned, expecting to see my family, but there was no one there. The whispers surrounded me, growing louder and more insistent. "Leave, before it's too late." The unease settled in my chest like a heavy weight. I confided in my family, but they dismissed my fears as anxiety from the move. Determined to prove them wrong, I researched the house's history. What I discovered sent shivers down my spine. The previous owner had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a legacy of whispers and shadows. The more I delved, the clearer the connection became. One night, unable to sleep, I ventured into the basement. The air was suffocating, and I could feel eyes watching me. A voice, a desperate plea, echoed in the darkness. "Help me." The next day I contacted a medium, desperate for answers. As she walked through the house, her face grew pale. "There's something here," she whispered. "Something that wants to be heard." She performed a ritual, and as the room filled with an eerie energy, I felt a presence beside me. The whispers turned into words, stories of pain and longing. The spirit of the vanished owner had been trapped, unable to move on. With the medium's guidance, we helped the spirit find closure, and the whispers slowly faded. The house felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted. As I settled into the new normal, I couldn't help but feel a mixture of relief and sadness. The unseen resident had finally found peace, but the memory of its haunting whispers would forever linger in the corners of my mind, a reminder that the past can sometimes reach out from the shadows to tell its story.